Welcome, one and all, to another episode of Pastors of Payne. We are a podcast. We are a radio show. We are coming to you from Payne County, Oklahoma.
County.
And we're off and running. School year underway. Our
Oh,
CIA has begun.
Oh, yeah. Become Catholic.
Lots of different ministries for children and teenagers.
And college students are
college
back.
students
Oh my
and
gosh.
Spanish speakers. We got a Thursday morning Bible study going.
What?
We've got some prayer groups happening. Welcome week is over.
Focus missionaries are
Focus missionaries starting Bible
lighting it up.
Bible studies. Also rocking it out is the new Our Lady of Grace Catholic Retreat Center.
Yeah.
So check them out.
They were
One of the
full.
ways you can find them is if you Google, what is the world's longest website name? And then it will tell you Our Lady of Grace Catholic Retreat Center.com. Anyway, check them out. They're also on they're on the Facebook and the Instagram.
Yeah, I tried to go out there the other day, and they're like, "We're full for like 2 weeks." Like, what?
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, a lot of places have been out there.
Yeah.
Different parishes, school. A lot of Catholic schools. Some of the Catholic schools from Oklahoma City, Ponca, Okarche. They did their staff retreats there. You did one. We're doing one in September. We have Carlo Broussard coming.
Oh yeah.
From Catholic Answers and the Diocese of Tulsa.
Yeah, he's going to give
So
our
that'll
Lenten
be cool.
retreat.
Oh, he is?
Our Lenten 3-day mission.
Yeah, that's cool. Anyway, that'll be good.
There's a lot of good stuff going on in
things are
Payne
awesome.
County.
Yeah,
Come on.
there's good. It's good. It's
the
real
best
good.
county in Oklahoma.
I also am edified by, I would say when I look back at my 5+ years, almost 6 years here, I think one of the things, you make mistakes, trial and error, and like, I would have done that differently. Well, we really tried to get like a big partnership with Catholic Charities of Eastern Oklahoma. So there hadn't really been any kind of relationship between Stillwater and Catholic Charities. So we got that going. And then COVID, I mean, I really blame COVID. Like just jacked that whole thing up. We were trying to do ESL classes and GED stuff and
It was going well.
all of that. Yeah, and then COVID anyway. But one of the cool things that Catholic Charities is doing still is they are doing GED classes in the Payne County Jail.
What?
And I just love it. Sister Catherine Martinez, you know her from St. Joseph Monastery?
Yeah.
Sister Catherine comes over. And so it's a partnership between Catholic Charities of Eastern Oklahoma and OSU. So we partnered big time on the Afghan refugee resettlement.
Yeah.
And some of that's still going on. We have the budget for that people gave us. And most of that budget is getting paid down with dental bills.
Oh.
Lots of people that need lots of the folks who have come and now settled here, they have lots of dental needs, which are very expensive if you've ever had tooth extraction or a root canal or stuff like that.
I mean,
but anyways,
cleaning.
Catholic Charities, it's just that's one of those, like, I've tried to I send out this weekly flock note to the whole parish on every Thursday. It's called Weekly Notes from Father O'Brien, which just allows me to say anything I want, really. But I try to tell people kind of there's these little ministries that are just under the radar. We teach English as a second language every Sunday afternoon at 2:00 after the Spanish Mass. And it's lovely. It's probably 8, 10, 12 people. Older people, Spanish speakers, 60s and 70s, and they want to learn English.
Whoa, that's cool.
Anyway, it's cool. It's just stuff like that. And I know you have that all the time. We have the big public stuff.
Yeah, and then
Sunday Mass, big events, retreats, RCIA, all that big stuff. But then there's just what's beautiful that I think we ought to hopefully never take for granted is all just the little behind the scenes.
Yep.
Under the radar. Just good ministry.
Uh-huh.
individual. You meet a lot with individually with students, one-on-one, for an hour, and you're just helping them work through
whatever it is,
personal problem, or the parents are jacked up, or
bad grades,
their boyfriend broke
depressed.
up with them, or they miss home, and there's just all that. That's going on every single day. And I think that our Sunday mass goers don't really see, when people are like, what do you do all week? Like, Sundays are like the lightest day.
The lightest.
Comparatively. I mean,
yeah.
Comparatively. I mean, Sundays are not, most days are 12 hours, 12 to 14.
Yeah.
And Sundays are only 10. Something like that.
Oh, man. Yeah. Anyway,
I don't say that. I'm not saying that to complain. I know we did we worried some people when we did our episode about burnout.
Oh, I told you that I listened to it, and I was like, okay.
People were like, "You guys okay?"
You know what? I had a dinner with a student the other day.
I think Father Kerry and Father O'Brien are about to go off the deep end.
The student, I was having dinner with them, and we were just chatting, and they said, when I saw you in April, I was really shocked. I was like, wow, how does he run on 40% energy? And I was like, what do you mean running on 40% energy? And he said, and I quote, yeah, you looked like crap in March.
Wow.
And I said, whoa, are you lying? He's like, well, I said, are you lying to me? And he was like, no, Father, I would have to come to confession and then tell you I was lying to you. I'm going to tell you the truth. You looked terrible in March. You looked burned out. You were probably, I thought, about 40% energy. And I was like, oh, that guy read me like a book. Anyway, other people can see it. And another student who's a girl said the same thing. So then when two people say it, then there's a lot of truth into it.
Wow.
But you know what? You know what's absolute truth? The Eucharist is the body, blood, soul, and divinity of Jesus Christ.
So that is actually...
I didn't know how I was going to make that transition, so I just dove on it. And
one very cool thing about this year, and I actually think, since we did that episode on being burned out, when was that? That was like February.
Oh.
January and February.
Priest burnout is real.
Were hard. They were hard. And part of it was, just the fruitfulness of ministry wasn't, easily apparent. There were legit people who were really kind of mad about stuff. People, not, I would say just kind of critical of the, just kind of the direction of things, or the direction of the parish. And that made it, that's just hard. I have pretty kind of thin skin. And so anyway, all that came together. But one of the things, this has a point, one of the things that I think kind of brought me out of that has been the National Eucharistic Revival.
Yeah.
And basically it's been for me like, all right, O'Brien, what is this parish for? And when it comes down to it, ultimately, what do we want? Obviously, the salvation of our people. We want people to make Jesus the center of their life. But ultimately, I want people to be fed by the Eucharist. And that's what I just love about the revival.
Yeah.
It's just made us focus. So all summer, this was our focus all summer long. Okay, what should the kids stuff be about? The Eucharist. Okay, Deacon Tom wants to teach a class in Spanish. What should it be about?
The Eucharist.
The Eucharist. We're going to bring in a speaker, our Spanish parish mission. What should it be about? La Eucharistia. Boom, it's on. It just made things, I just focused.
Yep.
And I'm kind of still there. That's what we need to be all about.
Okay. Beautiful. We said before this, what do we want to talk about on the Eucharist. I said, let's just dive in because there was this,
quote, let's just start and we'll figure it out.
Let's just start and we'll figure it out because, I told you all in July, I went to Medjugorje. And there's this priest there who gives all the talks. He's in America. No, he's not. He's from Asia somewhere, but he's a Carmelite priest. And he would say every day, like, hey, you were coming here to Medjugorje some people are coming here for some miracle, or they want to see something happen, or they want God to do something or a great healing in their life. And he said, the Blessed Virgin Mary keeps reminding you first and foremost to spend time with her Son in the Holy Eucharist. You could go up these mountains and you can hike up them, and you can have an encounter with beauty. Maybe you'll have an encounter with God. You can go up Cross Mountain. You can do all these things. You can see all these sights. Where do all the miracles take place?
Oh.
And he said, all the miracles that we know about have taken place in front of Jesus in the Holy Eucharist.
Wow.
He says that is where Mary keeps telling people to go. Go
do whatever he tells you.
Yeah. If you go into St. John, somebody, a family was in town.
St. John's in Edmond?
No, St. John here in Stillwater. You be quiet. St. John here in Stillwater.
St. John Nepomuk in Yukon?
Boo.
St. John's in Pawnee?
St.
John's Hospital?
All of them. If you go to all of them, they're going to tell you to go to St. John in Stillwater, right on the corner of Miller and Knobloch, where we build saints for the kingdom of God. Anyway, so someone said, I've never seen Mary at the center of the church like that. And I said, well, she's at the center of the church because look at her hands. Her hands are pointing down to the tabernacle to tell you, do whatever he tells you to do. And so there's that to do what, but it's also divine life radiates from the tabernacle because that is where Jesus is in the Holy Eucharist. He is there present 100%, 100,000%. And that's what they kept reminding people in Medjugorje over and over and over again. Like you've come here to grow in your faith life. That's the number one place you're going to do that. You're going to spend time with Jesus in the Holy Eucharist. You're not going there to hang out with bread and wine. You're going out there to hang out with the bread from heaven.
And
him.
the beautiful thing about that is, you can go to Medjugorje and try, have kind of a mountaintop experience. But then when you go home to your parish, you're not there anymore. But what's there? Who's there? Right? Jesus in the Eucharist.
Amen.
Is there. We had a similar, this summer we took a bunch of kids up to Steubenville Youth Conference. So similar kind of thing, it's amazing. The speakers, Father Mike Schmitz was there. The music and the 5,000 teenagers. It was wild.
Sounds like mayhem.
It was awesome. 1,500, I think the final confession count was like 2,800, something like that.
What?
Like in 48 hours. Like that's nuts.
Over half.
That's nuts. And those are the ones that they knew about. Then there were kids going to confession all over the place, walking along. A kid in the cafeteria going to confession, like, hey, how's it going? All right. But that it was about the Eucharist. The talks were about the Eucharist. There were beautiful nights of adoration and Mass, and Archbishop of St. Louis was there. Great, beautiful. But then you have an encounter with the Eucharist, and then you go home. And what do you find when you go home? The Eucharist.
It's there.
So that's, I think, just one of the beautiful things about being Catholic. One of the more that we can connect our people, talk about, grow in love of the Eucharist, the better off we'll be. And so even if if your church is ugly or your parish is kind of weak sauce, you still have the Eucharist.
Yeah.
If you're far from home and you miss your friends and you miss your family, you're on a military base or you're, far away. What's going to be at your local Catholic church? So
small world, big world. So we went on this pilgrimage in May to Poland.
Poland, yes.
So taking students to Poland, and a student comes out of the church in Neopokolanów, which is called Marytown. Maximilian Kolbe built it. it's the Nazis rounded up the Franciscan friars there. And there's this church there, big, great church. And she comes out and she says, she was kind of joyful and sort of like, what are you trying to convey to me? And she's trying to tell me. And she said, I just went into the adoration chapel on the left side, Father. During COVID, I prayed in this chapel. I was like, I'm sorry, what?
Really?
She said they never identified where it was, but it was a live feed of Eucharistic adoration.
Oh, no kidding?
And she had never known where it was. So every day during COVID, she would start up her computer and she would pray a holy hour at this chapel. And she said, I went into the side chapel. They said there was a perpetual adoration chapel in there. And I went in there.
Really?
And it's actually was designed by Maximilian Kolbe himself. And it's a figure of the Blessed Virgin Mary, and in the womb is a monstrance.
Oh.
Like right there in her womb, boom.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's in Marytown, Poland, Neopokolonov. And so
I've been to Marytown, Chicago.
It's the same place. It's just you can buy locate there. But I thought it was so beautiful because we, like, as you just said, it's like you can go all these places and the Eucharist is right there in your hometown. Unless you're from small town Georgia, and there's probably not. Or small town Arkansas, probably not. Small town Oklahoma, probably not. But you can go to your local Catholic church, or as you're driving, you can pass by, or you can find these beautiful Eucharistic adoration chapels around the world and just like zoom in on them. Not zoom in on them, but like they have live feeds going on. And if you can't make a time of prayer, I mean, it's a great opportunity just to, I mean, it's kind of, I would say kind of cheesy, but it's also beautiful too, because you're making the presence of God right there in front of this laptop screen and spending time in prayer. And then who knows what God has up his sleeve for you as you travel the world or even travel the state. You could run into a Eucharistic adoration chapel that you spent weeks and months in front of and never knew.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Never knew where it existed.
What one thing we have not talked about that I would like to bring up. One idea that has been proposed is some kind of thing that maybe you and I, our parishes, do together. Procession. Can we talk about that? So we've literally not. You and I have never talked about it.
Procession, Eucharistic procession.
We kind of talked about it a little. I mentioned it to Clay, your campus minister, over the summer. And basically said, Clay, you and I want to get together and talk about this, or should we wait for Father Kerry to get back? And he said, because he's new, he said, oh, maybe we should wait for Father Kerry to get back. What if we did that?
I would love it.
A Eucharistic procession from St. John's to St. Francis Xavier, or vice versa.
And what's great, like when school is not in session, I don't want to do it during the summertime when it's blazing hot out here and we're walking on asphalt. But sometime, maybe when there's not a game day weekend, or
what day of the week should we do it?
I don't know. We need to sit down and do a little powwow and brainstorming on that.
If you're listening to this, give us some.
It would be really cool to do a Eucharistic procession because it's like a 10-minute drive.
What would be our route?
Well, I would say
down McElroy,
just straight east on McElroy.
I was thinking, what if we went down McElroy and we took a right on, like at the baseball stadium?
What if we went down McElroy and then took a right on? Oh, that's the same road.
A right, a right. So we take a right at the baseball tennis is right there.
Yeah, that's Washington.
Yep. So we took a right on Washington, and then like went through campus.
That'd be great.
Like the parking lot, which is on the west side of the stadium.
Yeah. Where
Barry Sanders and T. Boone are.
Yeah, we could just go right through that road right there. What is that? That's Washington that turns into that's not athletic.
Hall of Fame.
The block up. No, Hall of Fame. We'd cross Hall of Fame.
Oh, cross over Hall of Fame.
And go through Washington, and then it curves at the geological building right there, and then goes right past the engineering, past Endeavor.
Do we want to go through campus?
We could go through a little bit of campus.
What if we went down McElroy, turned right at like the soccer stadium?
If we turned right at the soccer stadium, then we'd have to cross. We could go down Monroe.
Like right in the middle of
that's
Monroe.
Monroe.
We could go down Monroe.
Down Monroe and then turn and go through campus the other way.
Monroe's the one that's like closed during the day?
Yeah, that's right. It runs right where Pike and
so that would be so interesting to come. Yeah, we go down there because almost like, kind of through campus.
Yeah.
We would need like a police.
We would need people to shut down the roads. It would be really cool. We couldn't do it.
Do you think they would do that?
We could do it somewhere around Thanksgiving break because there's both students here and it's the last Bedlam.
Just do it in the middle of the last Bedlam.
Just march right through in a Eucharistic procession.
So we would walk. Whose monstrance is lighter?
You know what? We were going to borrow one? St. Thomas More in Tulsa.
Oh, the big one?
The giant monstrance. How about that one that was like 6 feet, 5 inches tall that they used in the Eucharistic procession in Tulsa?
I mean, do you want to get that?
Do you know how big that is?
I mean, you have to put it on a truck.
Yeah, I want to carry it. You know what? There's one that they have at St. Thomas More, and it comes out of the base, and it's got a handle, and you just carry it like this.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, we could get some burros, maybe some donkeys, or maybe some goats to pull it along because we have a goat. Is that bad ideas? But
we do have access to lots of livestock.
But remember, the Ark of the Covenant was supposed to be carried by the Levites.
So would we start? Where would we start? Start at St. John's or start at St. Francis Xavier?
Well, we could do it early in the morning too, and then just
go there and back.
I wouldn't go back.
We'd need a bus because if everybody let's say everybody parked at St. John's, and then we processed to St. Francis Xavier, then how does everybody get back to St. John's?
Yeah, there's those things. People would have to drive a car over, then drive a car back.
Maybe get a bus.
Yeah, I don't know.
Wow, that would be cool.
Yeah. That would be super cool. But also people live at different... Ooh, yeah. The biggest logistical problem is getting people back and forth.
What if we went down University?
If we went down University... Hold on a second. Why University?
I don't know. It's just like a main thoroughfare to campus.
Yeah, that's also a neighborhood.
That's what I was thinking. Like, what if we went right through a neighborhood and then Catholic people would like set up,
refreshment stations, Gatorade shots,
set up little
on the side of the road,
little altars, or something.
Little pit stop.
They could come out of their house.
We could use the steps of some of the sororities and fraternities as a little altar.
A little altar. Wow.
Oh yeah. No, probably not.
Have you ever heard this being done? You've done a procession.
We have done Eucharistic processions in the past, and we did one on campus. We go through and set up 3 altars, and then we've tried it in the years past, and windstorms have shown up. Like we had one time,
weather is definitely a factor.
Like we set up the altars, and then all of a sudden, 18-mile-an-hour winds come through, and you're like, you got to be kidding me. Like during COVID, we were going to have mass outdoors, and then we realized the one thing that changed, it was a game changer every time we thought about doing it. The wind would just show up
it does come sweeping down the plains.
Big gusts.
And we live on the Central Plains.
That's why they got all these wind farms up here. The wind farms are not just
mountains
to kill birds.
All the mountains in our part of the state
build electricity. I think and other people are doing Eucharistic processions more and more around the country.
I love the idea of our parishes working together.
Yes.
I love the idea of it being kind of a joint venture between the two as a public. I think good for our people to increase our Eucharistic devotion, but then, dang it, I mean, it's a public display
of faith.
I remember in seminary there was a little documentary that came out. There was one called Fishers of Men.
God in the Streets of New York.
But it was the same guys that did God in the Streets. And they did in New York City. I mean, right in the middle of Manhattan.
Yeah, the CFRs.
The CFRs, the Franciscan Friars of the Renewal, they did this Yeah, and it's probably on YouTube. Google it. I don't know if it's still up there.
Yeah.
And they're walking through the streets. I mean, and Catholic people are just like on their way to work, on their way to school. And here comes the monstrance, and they hit their knees.
Yeah. Ooh. Public display of faith.
That would be awesome. Would you think it would cost a lot
to do it?
I mean, if we have to shut down streets, does that cost money?
Yeah, I don't know. It's probably quick. Like we have
to get a parade permit,
or we get everybody if we do it early in the morning, it'd be a lot easier. Especially when it's cool and it's nice.
Maybe a Saturday morning.
Yeah, when there's not a football game, when there's a away game.
Wow. We have mass. We have a 9 a.m. mass. Would we do it earlier than that?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
9 a.m. mass. How long would it take?
It'll probably.
We start here, and I mean, from the time mass ends, it's 5 miles.
It's a 10-minute drive. I know that much. Whatever the posted speed limit is.
What is it?
So that's a 10-minute drive. So it's going to take at least an hour just to walk it if you were at your regular pace. And then you add a bunch of people, and you start moving a little slower, and you're taking up 2 lanes of traffic. So I'm going to guess 3.5 hours.
Really?
That's my rough estimate. Yeah.
Okay. Here.
Jackson.
Here we go.
Jackson says so just to walk it is an hour and 14 minutes.
Just to walk it.
it.
So we have mass. Oh, here's what we do. We have mass, and then out of mass we make the walk. And then at the end, there's like let's say we start here and then have benediction at your place,
and then a rager.
And then exactly.
Cold beers cookout.
And then have like students and townies and everybody. Just have like a barbecue. Wow.
Yeah, because that would get us there. I would reckon it would get us there about noon, about lunchtime. If we left here at 9 o'clock.
So maybe we have mass at 8 a.m. that day?
Yeah. And it would take probably, we start moving, it'll probably take, 10 minutes to get everybody on the road. Yeah.
Whoa.
Shnikes, dude. This would be sweet.
We should let's start looking for
non-football game, non-wedding weekends.
Non-football. Well, if the wedding were later.
Yeah.
We'll be tired, though. I sweat a lot. I'm gonna need some.
You're gonna need some walk training.
I'm gonna need.
You don't walk that much.
I'm gonna need an IV.
Yeah, we can put some still water right back in you.
That would be awesome. And then between us, we have 3 priests. We have deacons.
Yep.
The Knights of Columbus, I'm sure, would be jump in.
Yeah. So we put the. Yeah, I'm in. You don't have to. I'm impulsive.
And
you got
students, me. Well, we would not be able to do this impulsively.
I know. But
But you're saying yes.
I'm in.
I'm saying yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we need anyone else's permission?
I think we'd have to get the city's permission.
Oh, the city. The city. Oh, and maybe the county too, because we're not. We'd have to do both because we're not. St. Francis Xavier is not in the city.
You know what? We just call the Stadies. You already know them. They like you. They like St. Francis because they come over here at the intersection and
they set up their DUI checkpoint for tumbleweed.
We just talk to the Stadies and be like, "Hey guys,
we do have a good relationship with the sheriff's office.
Yeah,
they help us when the cows get out." Right?
Well,
and other things. There was a guy walking down the street with the machete one day.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
that was a good one.
That's a good one. Wow. Okay, I like this.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so we need to put some brains behind this idea.
All right. If you have any ideas,
don't call us. Don't suggest them. We already got them.
Well,
I don't want input from anybody.
What do you mean?
I mean, because then people are going to come up with crazy
What about funding?
ideas.
We might need some funding.
Okay. Then
we'll take funding.
We'll take $100 and $1,000
for the podcast and for our our Eucharistic
procession. Oh, yeah.
Wow. All right. Have a great day, everybody.
Okay. God bless you. Peace.